While most folks are worried about inflation, there's one item that we can't live without that's being hit from several directions all at once, and it's water. Water reservoirs that millions of people depend on are struggling. Then, on top of that, AI data centers are using more water than a small town, and suspected Iranian cyber attacks have hit water utilities in several states. Today, we're going to go over the different levels of water storage, including some options that I have not shown on the channel in the past. Starting off, there's level 1. Here, you basically have no dedicated water storage. If water utilities failed, you'd be relying solely on what you happen to have in your house. That could be half a case of bottled water or what's left of your melted ice from your trip to King Burger the night before. If that's you, the first thing that I do is go out and pick up a few bulk packages of bottled water. A good number to shoot for is like a 2-week supply for everyone in your family. If you've watched the channel for a while, you know that I don't really like to use those a whole lot, but they do have some big advantages when it comes to basic emergency preparedness. First, they're the easiest way to get started. Most folks, even if they're not in the best financial shape, can't afford to go out and pick up like 1 or 2 of these. Another good thing about them is that they're self-contained. You don't have to buy anything else to be able to use them. Just grab a bottle and drink it. Bottled water is also useful for bug-out situations. Whole packages are easy to load into vehicles, including small, tiny cars, and you can break them down into individual bottles to put into kits like EDC bags, office kits, or bug-out bags. Then they also make good charity or barter items. If your neighbor needs some water, letting them have just a few bottles is one of the most low-risk ways to help someone. And then if you live in an apartment or anywhere else that doesn't have a whole lot of space, being able to break down packages of bottled water will let you take advantage of little nooks and crannies. And even though 2 weeks really isn't a lot, especially if you've been prepping for a while, it is enough to get through the vast majority of situations that we could deal with. That includes things like simple boil water notices, all the way to some major weather events. Like even during the 2021 Texas ice storm, most places with water outages and boil water notices only had them for around maybe week and a half. But of course, there are other things like hurricanes that may take longer to recover from. So even though 2 weeks worth of water is fairly minimal, it could end up making a very big difference. Now, just to be honest with y'all, my family and I, we don't really keep a whole bunch of this stuff on hand. We really just use it for kids. I like keeping smart water bottles and things like my Rapid Get Home bags, since they have a fairly large capacity at 1 liter, and they can also connect to water filters like the Sawyer Mini. So even though we use other storage methods for our initial 2-week water supply, we do still use bottled water for certain things. Then at level 2, you have your 1 to 2 week supply of bottled water plus a handful of portable water containers to get you and your family to a month or 2 of stored water. You also have at least 1 water filtration or purification method and have practiced using it. For portable containers, I have 3 that I like: the Reliance Aquatainer, the Scepter Military Water Can, and Water Bricks. Water bricks are nice since they're compact and are designed to stack one on top of the other. I like to use them next to sinks for hand washing during outages, but you will need to purchase a spigot to be able to do that. Then the Aquatainer is what we use for drinking and cooking water. Those usually run around like $20, but unlike water bricks and a lot of other containers, they actually come with a spigot, so you don't have to purchase that separately every time that you get one. The big downsides to them, though, are durability, and they aren't designed to be stacked. Then the military water can is what I like to use for road trips and what I would take with me if I needed to bug out. Those are incredibly tough, so I don't have to worry about them rupturing while I'm traveling. And even though they don't come with a spigot, you can dispense water without one. You can also group collapsible water containers with these as well, but if you're using them, do not include what they can hold in your water inventory. Something may happen suddenly where you don't have time to fill those up, so don't count on that water until you have it. It's sort of a don't count your chickens before your eggs hatch kind of thing. And then the same thing goes for bathtub bladders like aquapods and water bobs. But for anything that you keep stored long term, I like to clean and rotate portable water containers every 6 months or so, just so that nothing has a chance to start growing and festering inside of them. them. And then I try to rotate bottled water within 2 months. Those little bottles, especially the ones that come in the bulk packs, are really flimsy and they can rupture. And the longer you try to store them, the chances of that happening go up. Also, keep your water storage away from light sources, since that'll make it a lot harder for algae to start growing inside of your containers. Now, you can do what my family and I've done, where we've started using less bottled water in favor of more portable water containers. If you do that, though, it is still a good idea to have at least some bottled water on hand for kids and then for other things that we talked about a minute ago. But if you picked up the Well-Rounded Prepper, a lot of what we're talking about in this video should seem pretty familiar. We're going through what you'd have at each level, along with what to do next based off of where you are right now. The Well-Rounded Prepper does that for every core area of preparedness and uses the readiness wheel to show which of your preps are strong and which ones need more work. It's designed to help you get all of your preps where they need to be, and you can get yours today using the links in the description and pinned comment below. But going back to level 2 water storage, at this point it's also important to have the ability to filter or purify water. As a general rule, filters will remove things like bacteria, protozoa, and sediment, while purifiers will do all of that and also remove viruses and chemicals as well. I did a full video over the water purification plan that I use for my family, which I'll be sure to link to at the end of this one. The most basic and inexpensive filters that I would trust are the hollow fiber membrane filters made by Sawyer. They're a great choice for backcountry use where you're not too likely to come across chemicals or viruses, and they're also useful for cleaning up water that maybe you let sit for a little too long in like your portable containers or barrels. Boiling is a good option for short-term situations like simple utility outages where you can use your regular stovetop or camp stove, but if you're dealing with a longer-term situation, then a rocket stove with a stock pot would be better, as long as you have a reliable source of wood. You can also use a solar oven to pasteurize your water, and if you want me to do a video over that, then be sure to let me know in the comments below. Then chemical treatments like bleach are another option, but if you're going to do that, it would be way better to store granular calcium hypochlorite, use that to create a bleach solution, and then use that solution to treat your water. Next is level 3, and to reach this level, you need 3 months or more of stored water on hand, along with a multi-step water purification system that can remove bacteria, protozoa, viruses, and chemicals. But when it comes to storing this much water, you need to start using bulk containers if you haven't done so already. Trying to store hundreds of gallons of water in the form of bottled water or portable containers is very expensive, and it's going to take up a ton of space. This is actually something that my family had not done yet until here recently, and I'd like to thank Emergency Water Tanks for helping us out and sending us a couple of their stackable 55-gallon tanks. Now, of course, you can use regular blue barrels and other large containers like IBC totes, but with those you have to keep a few things in mind. First, they're going to take up quite a bit of space. IBC totes, of course, are absolutely huge. And then standard blue barrels, even though they aren't as big individually, they're going to end up having a larger footprint since they're not designed to be stacked. Another issue is getting water out of them. Many barrels only have little bung holes at the top, so you'll have to use some sort of pump to get water out of them. You can install a spigot, but doing that's a little harder on closed top barrels. Then used barrels have their own issues, the main one being that you may have no way of knowing what used to be stored in them. Now, there are some situations where it's pretty obvious. This one still has the label on it showing that it was used to store creamer, and it smells like creamer, so there you go, put 2 and 2 together. But there's a whole lot of barrels out there that have been used to store chemicals which leach into the plastic and are impossible to completely remove. Even with the creamer barrel though, I'd probably only use that for non-potable water since it was used to hold dairy. But before I do that, I'm still going to have to spend a lot of time cleaning it out, and doing that with a used barrel is much more work than cleaning and sanitizing a new one. So that's why I was really excited when Emergency Water Tanks sent me an email. The 55-gallon tanks that they sent me are very well built and they're easy to use. They have a brass spigot at the bottom that'll allow you to easily connect a hose to them or just dispense water straight into another container. So with this, I can take like an empty aqua container, fill it up from the tanks, and then bring it back inside and set it on the edge of a counter or next to a sink. But with any bulk container, you want them to be off the ground. Plastic can absorb chemicals from concrete floors over time, so I built a platform for the barrels to sit on. I use pressure treated lumber for the base that touches the ground and non-pressure treated boards for the top, since that's what the tanks will be sitting on. I notched the top of the 4x4 so that the weight rests in the notch, not on the screws, which could shear off. I did make a couple of mistakes though when I was building the platform. As you can see, the barrel sits a little ways back from the edge, and I did that so that the weight would be over the 4x4s rather than the little 2x4s screwed onto the end. That makes connecting a hose pretty difficult, but I can attach a garden hose to a 1/4 inch tubing adapter on there and dispense water that way. It's not a big deal, just something to avoid if you want to build one. Learn from my mistake. And I do wish that I had made it just a little bit taller. But before storing water in bulk containers, you want to clean them out similar to how you would portable containers, just on a much larger scale. To do this, you'll need a drinking water hose, some soap, regular disinfecting bleach, and a set of measuring spoons. Start off by squirting some soap into your tanks and then add a little bit of water. I did the old finger over the end of the hose trick to help mix the water and soap a little better. When you're doing this though, don't fill the containers up too much, because if you do, then they're gonna be way too heavy to move around. After that, close up your tanks and start shaking them to clean the inside. They're pretty large, so manually scrubbing the entire inside would be pretty difficult. To get around that though, I spent a little more time shaking and rolling the tank to get soap all over the inside and give it a better chance of dislodging stuff. The barrels are brand new, so they should be pretty clean already. I just wanted to make sure to get rid of any dust or debris that was left over from the manufacturing process. After you spend a little time doing that, go ahead and empty out the soapy water and rinse it out. You're probably going to need to do the rinsing a couple of times just to get rid of all the suds. I also like to open the spigots and let some water run through those as well. Then after that, use regular disinfecting bleach to sanitize the inside of the tank, and when doing this, use a measuring spoon to make sure that you're using the right amount. For this, I use 4 teaspoons to 1 gallon of water. That should be enough bleach to kill any germs inside of the tank, but not so much that rinsing it out is a problem. After you've poured the bleach solution into the tank, close it up and shake and roll it the same way that you did with the soapy water. You want the bleach solution to be in contact with every surface inside of the tank for at least 30 seconds. After that, dump it out and rinse. I rinsed and dumped each tank 2 or 3 times after I emptied out the bleach solution. But after you've cleaned and sanitized the tanks, you're ready to start filling them up, and this is the easy part. I filled each one about halfway full and then stopped and added 2 teaspoons of disinfecting bleach, which will help prevent bacteria, mold, and algae from growing inside of the tanks during long-term storage. You can use water preserver for this, but the active ingredient is sodium hypochlorite, which is also the same in bleach. It's just more pure and more stable. But if you buy a new bottle of plain disinfecting bleach and use it for this, it should do pretty much the same thing. After you've done that though, just finish filling up your tanks, put the lid on, and then you're good to go. One extra thing that I did is I went to Lowe's and picked up a couple of garden hose caps. Putting those on the spigots will help keep spiders and other bugs from building nests and other stuff inside of them while they're sitting for months on end. Now, one thing that may make some folks a little hesitant to use tanks like these is the cost. The ones that I have are going for around $185 with free shipping right now, but really that isn't all that much more than what you'd pay for a new Blue Barrel locally or ordering one online and paying shipping. A new Blue Barrel at Tractor Supply is like $150, and on top of that, you'd also need to pick up a pump to get water out of it, a bung wrench to open and close the caps, and also you can't stack them. So when you look at all of that together, the cost difference isn't that much, and these tanks are way easier to use too. If you want to check out these and other water storage options from emergency water tanks, then be sure to use the links in the description and pinned comment down below. Then at level 4 water storage, you have everything that we've talked about so far, plus a renewable water source. That could be a rainwater harvesting system, a well with a manual backup pump, or a reliable natural water source on your property like a creek, river, pond, or lake. You have ways to access your water without relying on electricity or gas powered equipment, and you can also purify large quantities of water. But just as important as all that, at level 4, you and your family have a written water plan that you've actually rehearsed. You're rotating your stored water, you know which water containers that you use first, and also which ones that you would take with you if you needed to leave. And you've also thought about the situations that would cause you to fill up collapsible water containers and bathtub bladders, and also you and your family have practiced using your multi-step water purification plan. Now, I am planning to do a video over how to put together a rainwater harvesting system soon, so let me know in the comments below if you'd rather see a simple, more budget-friendly system, or if you want to see a large multi-barrel setup. Now, if you want to see my full prepper water purification plan that I mentioned earlier, then click here. Or if you want to see the 9 main preps that everyone should have taken care of to get through the rest of 2026, then click here. Once again, I'd like to thank Emergency Water Tanks for sending us a couple of their 55-gallon units to take a look at today. Thank y'all for stopping by. Y'all have a good one.